Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to tell you all of my April favorites. So all of the things that I have been loving in the month of April, a wide variety. If you've been around here, I talk about everything from planner stuff to things that help me achieve my goals, and I hope might help you achieve your goals if you're interested and your goals are similar to mine. I may throw a beauty thing in here or there, although there's none this month. And obviously some planner supplies make their way into the favorites usually in helping me achieve my goals though, for the most part. I honestly don't have that many new favorites for April just because this month was a little bit crazy. The first part of the month I spent really out of commission after getting my wisdom teeth removed. It took a lot out of me, took a lot of time recovering. My favorites from that period of time were the chocolate ice cream, that is the Whole Foods brand, the 365 brand, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the new season. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about, I actually got in the month of March, and I knew pretty quick into April that it was going to be a favorite, and it is these workout shirts from Amazon. So this is the black one, and this is the short sleeve one. The short sleeve ones come in a 2-pack, so I have it in the black, and I have it in this bright blue color. That's the 2-pack that I picked out. I am planning to order more, so I definitely will let you know if there are any other colors that I recommend in the future. The short sleeve ones, I'll tell you why I ordered these first. I actually asked for them. They were on my birthday list. My birthday was March 25th, and nobody in my family got them for me, but my aunt and uncle got me an Amazon gift card, and it was originally intended for some of the deck stuff. I'm thinking about ordering my deck furniture from, not deck, it's like a slab of concrete, but anyways, ordering my deck furniture, patio furniture from Amazon. But if you watch anything, I have not made progress on my patio. So I realized I wasn't going to be using it for that. And since nobody got me the shirts on my list, I decided to start looking on Amazon to see if they had any short sleeve shirts. Now, there was a specific reason that these shirts were on my list, and that is because I have started taking the advanced bootcamp class at my office gym. I talked about this in my goals videos, and I've talked about this in my weekly vlog, and the old classes that I used to take that were every day at 12:15 was mostly women. And so I was wearing a tank top to the gym, like a workout tank top, and it was relatively fitted, but it was like a normal tank top. And if I bent over or did anything like that, like there was some cleavage. There was definitely some cleavage. When it was just a room full of girls, I didn't really feel that self-conscious about it. I didn't really notice it. And then I started taking the advanced bootcamp class, and I really started to notice it. I felt really uncomfortable wearing such a low, it wasn't even that low cut of a shirt, but just when I bent over, it became low cut, and I didn't feel comfortable in it anymore. So I wanted to get like a high neck and the short sleeve that just like, that's what I envisioned. I know they make like a high neck tank top, but honestly, I kind of like the short sleeve. Then if I, forget to shave, it's not that big of a deal. So anyways, so I found these on Amazon, and it was so inexpensive for a 2-pack. I have to tell you, they are so soft. They're so soft. I absolutely love them. I mean, for the price and the shipping speed, you can't beat them. Also, I don't know if they're supposed to be gender neutral. I can't really remember, but they fit like a little bit bigger. I think they're supposed to be gender neutral because they fit more like a guy shirt than a woman's shirt. So I got the large, which is what I normally wear at like Old Navy or anywhere that I would get a t-shirt. If I would get a t-shirt at a conference, I would get a large, and they're a little bit loose in a good way. They're still like fitted, like it's not too big on me, but it's not tight on me, which I really like when I'm working out. I don't want something that's like, sucking onto my body. That makes sense. So anyways, I really love them. And then when I decided to add running into my workout routine, I ordered a long sleeve one and was like, let me try the long sleeve one and see if I like it just as much. And then that can be my running shirt, because sometimes in the morning, even though it's getting warmer outside, I still might need a long sleeve shirt. I love it. It's the exact same soft material. It's a little bit more expensive than the short sleeve shirts, which is kind of frustrating given that it's not that much more fabric. But either way, I still really love them and recommend them. So if you are in the market for like some good workout shirts that are not tank tops for whatever reason, I just feel more comfortable in it. And these have been awesome. All right, the next thing on my list is probably on everybody's favorites list for the month of April, and that is the new season of Game of Thrones. Oh, it's finally back after almost 2 years of just like forgetting that we existed. It's finally back. And as of the time that I'm filming this video, we only have had 2 episodes so far, but honestly, I have loved them both. I know they haven't had the same like excitement as a lot of other Game of Thrones episodes, but it was all about the relationships. We have built relationships with these characters for 7 seasons. And so to have episodes that are just about those characters and their relationships with each other, and it was just, I loved it. So Game of Thrones definitely on my favorites list for this month. Depending on how things end, it might be on my favorites list for next month too. That leads me to my next favorites, which is a podcast, which I have mentioned a couple of times in different videos here, and that is the podcast called Binge Mode. If you've been around here, I'm not super into podcasts. I find podcasts that I really love, and then I become obsessed with them, and I listen to every episode, but I'm not like a casual podcast listener, if you will. So I found Binge Mode, I think it was before season 7 when they did that. So they released a podcast going through, breaking down every single episode of Game of Thrones. I don't remember if I did a rewatch before season 7. Either way, I listened to every single episode of their podcast where they broke down the entire show. Every single episode had a podcast episode, and they were like an hour long. The two people that are on the podcast, it's a guy and a girl, they're very unique. So if you don't like their style, and they do have some inside jokes at this point, if you just start jumping in, you might not get it. There's like a vibe about them. And I recently joined their Facebook group, and like I feel like an outsider there, and I've listened to almost every podcast that they've done. So anyways, so if you want to go back and listen to all those are great. If you just want to jump in now and listen to the current ones, they did a couple leading up to the new season of things that they want to find out and whatnot, answering some questions. And then obviously they're doing episode breakdowns for all of the new episodes as well. In fact, as soon as I'm done filming this, I'm going to go do my laundry and listen to the newest podcast episode that is on episode 2 of Game of Thrones. They also did all the Harry Potter books and subsequently the movies. Now, I haven't finished listening to all of them yet, and honestly, when I first tried to start listening to them, I didn't like it. I thought I would because I just got done listening to like 2 or 3 of their Game of Thrones ones. I was behind, and so I was catching up and I was listening to them, and then I was like, I'm gonna try their Harry Potter ones. And I tried, which was like, they break it down into chunks of chapters, so it was like chapter 1 through 5 of Sorcerer's Stone, and I didn't love it. And so I texted my friend Nina, and I was like, what are the Harry Potter podcasts that you love? I know that you listen to a lot of them. And she told me, and one of the ones she said, she was like, well, in Binge Mode, I love them. And I was like, oh, see, I love them for Game of Thrones, but I couldn't get into their Harry Potter ones. And she goes, just give it a couple more episodes. And I also thought that it might be because I just got done listening to them for hours on Game of Thrones. I was like, you're probably a little sick of their voices at this point, so like maybe pivot and try something else and then go back to it. And that's what I did, and now I'm loving it. I just finished listening to all of the Chamber of Secrets stuff. I'm about to move on to Prisoner, and it's been awesome. I am a huge Harry Potter dork as well, and I have been loving everything. So if you're looking for some really detailed, nerdy breakdowns of either of those things, check them out. The next thing I want to talk about are the Erin Condren packing lists. Now, I talked about these on Instagram, and these in particular, this printable is something that she sent to everybody that was going to go wild a couple of years ago when we went to Nashville. So if you went to Nashville, scroll way back into the depths of your email, you should be able to find this printable. And this is what I use now, is the printable. But before this was available, I used the notepad version, which they have available on their site still. It's exactly the same thing, except it's a notepad, and I don't think it has planner essentials. This section over here is just like other, and it's all blank and you can fill it out. That's what the notepad looks like, and that's what I used to use. They also have it in a dashboard version, like a laminated clip-in dashboard. I don't love those, especially because I use a highlighter. I'll explain the system I use too, that it doesn't work for me. So if you are a dashboard person and that is more your style, then definitely go with that one. It's reusable, so it's probably a more cost-effective option than buying the notepad, but I love the notepad as well, and the paper is amazing. So they have a space for a checklist, and I don't know how they intended you to use this, if the checklist is the stuff that you need or once you've packed it. The way I do it is I will highlight the things that I know I'm going to need, and then I will add additional notes to it if I want more information. For example, when I highlighted pleasure reading, I wrote Kindle next to it because I just want to make sure I remind myself, you're taking your Kindle, you're not taking an actual book. Or next to bottled water, I wrote Yeti, you're taking your Yeti cup, and so on and so forth. Next to watch, I wrote and your charger, don't forget your charger, so that I don't forget some of the details. And then what will happen, I wish I had an after one to show you. I've talked about this in a packing video before. So when I pack, whatever day that I pack is usually not the day of the trip. Although my next trip, that's exactly when I'm packing. On purpose. That's okay, right? I'm procrastinating on purpose. So if I'm packing, let's say a day or 2 before the trip, I'll go through, and as I put things into the suitcase, I will check it off. If it is something that cannot go into the suitcase on that day because I need it until the morning of, say my toothbrush, I will circle toothbrush, and I won't check it off, but I'll just circle it. Then the morning of, after I've gotten ready and like I'm ready to finish my packing, I will go through all the circled items, and those are the ones that I need to make sure get in my suitcase or my bag the day of the trip. So I love these things. Having 2 trips back to back in the month of April/May. I packed for them in the month of April, so even though one started May 1st, it is an April favorite for sure, are these Erin Condren packing lists. And if you haven't checked out the notepad version, I highly recommend it. I forget how many sheets you get because it's been a while, because I did have it and then we got this printable and I used the printable for Go Wild, and then I finished up my notepad and now I strictly use the printable instead of rebuying the notepad. But again, totally worth it in my opinion. It helps me make sure I don't forget random things. Like it has like vitamins on there and things like that that I feel like I would probably forget if I didn't have a preset list to make my list off of. And then it has the other section, so you can add stuff too that is specific to you that isn't on this list. So normally in my favorites videos, I like to include a habit, something that I've adopted in the month that has changed my life, that has changed my routine, that is helping me achieve my goals. And this month, none of the daily habits that I either attempted to do or did really changed my life to the point that I want to share them. It's not a favorite. Nothing in that category is a favorite. But there was a monthly task that was part of my April goals that I did that has absolutely changed just my demeanor as a whole. And that is creating a pump up playlist. But I expanded it even further and I created multiple playlists, and I am loving it. I think music has such a special, I don't even know how to describe it, but I associate memories with music. I associate moods with music. I love to like walk down the street and listen to a song and pretend that I'm in like a movie or a Broadway musical. And so the original purpose of the action was to just create a pump up playlist that I can listen to when I need some pumping up. And I didn't have any kind of specific time that I would listen to this. It was something that I heard in a podcast and I was like, I want to do that too. What I decided to do instead was create a couple of specific playlists. And the way that I was thinking about it was my Pandora stations. So I have a number of Pandora stations that I love, and sometimes it's really perfect and every song that comes on is something that I love, it's something I've thumbs up and it's awesome. And sometimes I find myself skipping a lot. And I was like, well, what if I made playlists that were kind of based on those Pandora stations, but they had all the songs that I loved. And I did this on Spotify. And so I created a couple of different playlists. One is a strictly workout playlist, and that's the one that I use when I go running. That's all of my like really pump up, let's run faster playlist. I have what I call my walking playlist. That is when I am walking down the street and I'm walking like to the subway. And sometimes I'll watch a YouTube video while I'm walking. It's probably not safe. Or I'll listen to a podcast. But I also love listening to this walking playlist. It makes me feel awesome. Then I created a current Broadway favorite. So I have a Broadway playlist and then my Broadway Pandora station. But the things that I'm loving in this current moment, it changes all the time. Like the shows that I want to listen to, and even the specific songs from those shows, it totally varies. And I will go on kicks of certain shows or certain genres. I called it actually 2019 Current Broadway, and it has all the songs and the shows that I love to listen to right now. And that one's been awesome. And then I created a current country favorites. I am a huge country music nerd, although a lot more older country than newer country. Because I don't have a radio, I feel like I'm not as up on the newer country. I'm more of like a Garth Brooks, like older country kind of girl. But same thing, I had my country playlist on Pandora and I wanted it to be like all my favorite songs from that. Now, the one downside is Garth Brooks is not on Spotify. There's a couple of his songs that you can find that are done by either really good covers or that were part of another album and then they somehow made their way onto Spotify. So there's not as many of my like all-time favorite country songs because I don't have that artist as an option, but it's still a playlist that I love to listen to. I talked about this in a favorites video a long time ago, which I will link for you if you're interested in hearing, but it was probably, I think, one of the first times I included a habit in my favorites video. And what the habit was listening to music while I'm doing activities instead of having the 800 billionth time I've watched Friends on in the background. Or currently now it's like every YouTube channel because I'm not as productive, right? If I'm trying to do something around the house or like even like chop vegetables and I put a YouTube channel on, it takes a lot more of my eyesight, first off. It also takes a lot more of my brain power versus when I put music on in the background, it's just different. It's a different vibe. And so I'm bringing that habit back with the creation of all these playlists because I have these playlists that I'm excited to play all the time, that's what I'll put on instead of a YouTube channel or a Netflix show or even a podcast. And it just, the music gets me in a mood and it's just awesome. So that is something that I did in the month of April that has absolutely just changed some of my everyday demeanor and has made me so happy. I think you can follow me on Spotify if you're interested in seeing my playlist. But again, they're really randomly specific of things that I really love. For whatever reason right now, I love the music from Trolls, the movie. Like, I'm all about it. I know that movie is like not new anymore. And not even just like, I mean, Can't Stop the Feeling is great, but like the song that Anna Kendrick sings about like, get back up again. Oh, just love it. Okay, that's it. Those are all of the things that I have been loving in the month of April. I want to know from you, what is one of your favorite pump up songs? What is that song that when you just need to feel the energy and get excited, what is that one song for you? I want to hear what those songs are for you so that I can keep building my playlist and making them things that I want to listen to and evolving them over time. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. I feel like there's something in my eye. I was like, what are the Harry Potter podcasts? So for example, when I highlighted, blah, blah, blah. No, Charlie, please don't hop on my lap. Forgot to put my phone on airplane mode and my dad just tried to call me mid-filming. Good thing I got my watch on, so it started ringing on my watch and I didn't just like keep talking and it wasn't filming. Did I just admit that? Yeah, okay. I'm bringing that habit back, and a YouTube show or a Netflix and YouTube show. I'm just a giant kid. Let's be honest. You're done. You're done. Be done. Okay. It's hot in here.